kunja bihari jaya. Gopi jana balaba Giridharadhari jaya. Gopi jana balaba Giridharadhari jaya. Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira vanachari. Yamunatira vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava kunja bihari jaya. Jaya Radha Madhava kunja bihari jaya. Gopi jana balaba Giridharadhari jaya. Gopi jana balaba Giridharadhari jaya. Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira vanachari. Yamunatira vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava kunja bihari jaya. Jaya Radha Madhava kunja bihari jaya. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitago Haribo, 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 Nitago, Haribo, Nitago. Nitaigo Haribo, 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 Nitago, Haribo, Nitago. Jayam Viśṇu Paramahansa Parivrajacacharya Sutta Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Viśṇu Paramahansa Parivrajacacharya Sutta Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. His Confounder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Pramsikao Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Sri Radha Kṛṣṇa Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kundi Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavan Dham Ki. Mahaprabhu Dham Ki. Dwarka Dham Ki. Jagannath Dham Ki. Ganga Maya Yamuna Maya Ki. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki. Shri Nitai Gaurachanda Ki, Shri Kṛṣṇa Balaram Ki, Shri Radha Shyamasundar Ki, Harinam Sankirtana Ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki, Nitai Gopimanandi. All glory to the Asama devotees, all glory to the Asama devotees, all glory to the Asama devotees, all glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Jai Prabhupada. Agyana Chimandasya Gananganan Salakaya Chaksus Umitan Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtan Stapita Yena Bhutale Sayarupa Kadamanya Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sita Padakamalan Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagajata Sagana Raghunatha Vitatan Sajivan Sadaitan Savadaitan Parijana Saitan Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devan Sri Radha Kṛṣṇa Padasahagana Lalita Sri Viśiṣyate He Kṛṣṇa karuna sindhu dinabandhu jagatpate Gopesha gopika kantu radha kantu namostute Tapta kanchana gorange radha bindavaniswari Visavanu sutadevi panamami haripe Kṛṣṇaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha Nanda gopa kumaraya govindaya namo namah Vasudeva sutan devam kansa chanura madana devaki paramananda Kṛṣṇa vande jagaguru Namo mahavadanyaya Kṛṣṇa premapadayate Kṛṣṇaya Kṛṣṇa chite namine gurati sinama Vanchakāpatarubhyascha kripāsindhubhyo cha patitana pavanabhebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah Namamo Viṣṇu padaya Kṛṣṇa pishtaya bhutale Śrīmati bhakti vedanta swamiti namine Namaste Saraswati deve Gauravani pracharine Nirviṣeṣa sunyabhari bhashta disatarine Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadara Sivasani Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ananda lila maya vigraha yohimavada vichavi sundaraya tasma maha prema rasapadaya chaitanya chandayuna manamaste. So I thank everyone for coming for the Bhagavad Gita class here in Vrindavan, ISKCON Vrindavan, and also those who are watching from Vrindavan TV as well as on Facebook. We are also on Facebook Live. So, we are on the chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita. Today's text is text number 7. The verse number is number 7, which is, the chapter is karma-yoga. Karma-yoga. So when we say karma-yoga, of course, karma means actions or the activities. But when the word yoga is connected, means activities for God. Karma yoga actually means niskam karma yoga, which means desireless actions. In this material world, every activities is preceded by some desire. We desire some fruit. So therefore we perform actions so that we can enjoy the fruit of our actions. So in this material world, nobody will do anything unless there is something to be gained. That's the motivating factor in all the activities in the material world, because there's something to be gained. But here, Kṛṣṇa is instructing Arjuna here about how to perform actions without motivation. This is what's going to be pointing out here in this text, which we are going to read today, about the Lord is talking about the superiority of performing actions without expectation of result. So the Lord is talking about that. So we read together the text number 7, Bhagavad Gita. Is the Lord speaking, Lord Kṛṣṇa is speaking, so therefore it's Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God. Yastu indriyāṇi manasā niyamyārabhate Arjuna karmendriyaiḥ karma-yogam asaktaḥ viśiṣyate yastu indriyāṇi manasā niyamyārabhate Arjuna karmendriyaiḥ karma-yogam asaktaḥ viśiṣyate yastu indriyāṇi manasā niyamyārabhate Arjuna karmendriyaiḥ karma-yogam asaktaḥ viśiṣyate
indriyāṇi
manasā
niyamyārabhate Arjuna
ārabhate Arjuna
karmendriyaiḥ asaktaḥ viśiṣyate indriyāṇi manasā niyamyārabhate Arjuna karmendriyaiḥ karma-yogam asaktaḥ viśiṣyate indriyāṇi manasā niyamyārabhate Arjuna karmendriyaiḥ
karma-yogam
asaktaḥ viśiṣyate
indriyāṇi
manasā
niyamyārabhate Arjuna
niyamyārabhate Arjuna
karmendriyaiḥ karma-yogam asaktaḥ viśiṣyate
indriyāṇi manasā niyamyārabhate Arjuna karmendriyaiḥ karma-yogam asaktaḥ viśiṣyate
indriyāṇi manasā
niyamyārabhate Arjuna
karmendriyaiḥ
karma-yogam
asaktaḥ viśiṣyate
Ya, one who to but indriyāṇi, the senses, manasā, by the mind, niyamya, regulating, ārabhate, begins, Arjuna, O Arjuna, karma-indriyaiḥ, by the active sense organs, karma-yogam, devotion, asaktaḥ, without attachment, sā, he, viśiṣyate, is by far better. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Śrīla Prabhupada ki. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Kṛṣṇa consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior. Purport. Instead of becoming a pseudo transcendentalist for the sake of wanton living and sense enjoyment, it is far better to remain in one's own business and execute the purpose of life, which is to get free from material bondage and enter into the kingdom of God. The prime svārtha-gati, or goal of self-interest, is to reach Viṣṇu. The whole institution of varṇa and āśrama is designed to help us reach the goal of life. A householder can also reach this destination by regulated service in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. For self-realization, one can live a controlled life as prescribed in the śāstras and continue carrying out his business without attachment, and in that way make progress. A sincere person who follows this method is far better situated than the false pretender who adopts show bottle spiritualism to cheat the innocent public. A sincere sweeper in the street is far better than the charlatan meditator who meditates only for the sake of making a living. So this is very important. Two topics are presented here. A so-called spiritualist or transcendentalist who practice the yoga path or the spiritual path just for the sake of name recognition or for the sake of maintenance or for the sake there are so many different motivations that can be there. Such a person is said to be a pretender. Lord Kṛṣṇa mentioned this in the last verse, just yesterday's verse, which says that karmendriyaiḥ samsayayaste manasā smaran indriyāṇi vimudatma mitāyascha uchate. That one who restrains the senses of action but whose mind dwells on sense objects certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender, an hypocrite, such a person. Like withdrawing all activities, taking to the path of to the path of renunciation, takes sannyas. But at the same time, the sense objects, the desire to enjoy the senses, it's there. One has not given up the desire to enjoy the senses. One has not given up the desire for sense gratification, but because of the fact that yes, people in general, when they see those who are in the renounced order of life, those who are in the dress of the renounced order of life, so people, they are very, very attracted. They are very, very attracted. So it's our common experience that sometimes, let's say we go on a function where there's so many gatherings of Vaishnavas. So whenever there's a sannyasi, so everyone, there's a lot of veneration to a sannyasi. Because sannyasi is regarded as someone who has renounced material life and whose focus is simply about detachment, renouncing the material world, and then focus on the goal, on the goal of life, which is to attain God, to attain Kṛṣṇa. So the sannyasi naturally have respect from society. It's just like, if, for example, if there's a grihastha, Vaishnava that is there, and he's speaking, and the sannyasi is also speaking. So it's a natural thing that the sannyasi will have more audience than the grihastha. A sannyasi speaker will have more audience because people say, natural respect for sannyasi is there. So therefore, a person may think that, it's good to be a sannyasi. Because after all, if I'm a sannyasi, I will have so many privileges. So many privileges there. If I'm a sannyasi, I have a lot of respect from the people. So many people respect. And also there are so many other benefits, such as privilege, accommodation, food, everything. A lot of privileges there. Everybody wants to give to a sannyasi. Hey, Maharaj, nice donation, nice house, nice prasad for you, Maharaj, like that, So a person will take sannyas, knowing of this privilege alone. That, if I become a sannyasi, I will get all this privilege. I will have the first, the first chance for accommodation, for food, for anything. Like we go to a festival like Mayapur, even here in Vrindavan, sannyasis have everything. Announcement will be made that special arrangement has been made for those who are sannyasis. There's a special arrangement for them, for prasadam, for everything. So that is there. So a person with this in mind say, let me take sannyas after I get all this privilege. Just like one devotee told me, this devotee is a sannyasi, picking me sannyasis. So he told me that, when I was a brahmachari, life's always very difficult for me. It's no money, to survive. But now I become a sannyasi. Now that I'm a sannyasi now, everything is just coming. So much money is coming. Now that I'm a sannyasi, everything is coming. So I don't have to struggle anymore. Money just comes, just like that. So it's like Lakshmi Devi, she had become, even though Lakshmi Devi, normally she doesn't like the Brahmanas because of the offense of Bhrigu Muni. Everybody knows about Bhrigu. How she kicked Viṣṇu on the chest. He kicked Viṣṇu because Bhrigu Muni was trying to find out who is the supreme among the three deities, Brahma, Shiva, and Viṣṇu. So in his quest, trying to find out who is the supreme, he went and kicked Viṣṇu on the chest. And that time Viṣṇu was lying on his, he was lying. And that time Lakshmi Devi, she was massaging his feet. And the Viṣṇu just came and kicked it, and Bhrigu just came and kicked his feet. He kicked the Lord on his chest. But Lord Viṣṇu was not angry. He was totally calm. I was even asking Bhrigu that, my dear Bhrigu, I didn't know that you are coming, and my chest must be very, very hard on your foot. Even Lord Viṣṇu was even sympathizing with Bhrigu that, you've kicked my chest, and my chest is very, very hard. But that chest is the abode of Lakshmi Devi. That's the abode of Lakshmi Devi. But that's where Bhrigu went to kicked. He kicked Viṣṇu on the chest, which is the abode of the resting place of Lakshmi Devi. But Viṣṇu did not get angry with Bhrigu. He did not get angry. So because of the Lakshmi Devi becomes so angry that what is this Brahmana? So therefore she became very angry with the Brahmanas. That therefore the Brahmana will always be poor. They will never get the favor of Lakshmi Devi. But it seems kind of reverse nowadays that those who are sannyasis, Lakshmi Ji seems to be favoring them. She gives them everything. And those, the Grihasthas preachers, Lakshmi, she doesn't like this. She just kind of stay far away from them. So therefore, you always see that the Grihasthas, they're always struggling. That is a common complaint in our society. The sannyasi, they have everything, and the Grihasthas don't have anything. So because of this privilege that is there, a person will think that, let me take sannyas. Why should I be struggling about as a brahmachari or vanaprastha? Why should I be struggling? Let me just take sannyas. So therefore, with this kind of motivation, they will take sannyas. But such attitude, according to Lord Kṛṣṇa, is said to be a pretender, an hypocrite. It's an hypocrite. Because what's the purpose of sannyas? The purpose of sannyas actually meant for those who have completely renounce any kind of desire for sense gratification. They've turned their back away from anything that has to do with this material world. And their only purpose of life is Kṛṣṇa prema. Is how to develop love for Kṛṣṇa. That is the only goal of life. That's what sannyas means. Which means in word, in actions, and in thought, the goal is to attain Kṛṣṇa. So therefore, our acharya, they said that one should not take sannyas unless one has actually developed, Kṛṣṇa prema, love of Kṛṣṇa. The sannyas should not be taken. So it's only a pretender who think this way. So Lord Krishna is saying that one should not be a pretender. One should be an idealist. Idealist. Which means one should be true to oneself. One should be true to oneself. It's not that just because being a sannyas is good, a lot of privilege there. No. The motivation should be how to please the Lord. That's what the Lord's mentioning. The Lord said he used the word asaktaḥ. Asaktaḥ means non-attachment. That the activities must be performed, but without attachment. Which this is called niskam karma. Niskam karma, which means niskam means without desires, without desire for enjoyment, without desire for enjoying the fruits. So that is niskam. So niskam karma yoga. This is the what the Lord is talking about when He's talking to Arjuna. Telling Arjuna that you have to perform action, you have to perform your duty because your duty must be done, but the performance of this duty should be done without expectation of reward. Just do it for the sake of doing it. You do it for the sake of doing it, but the main thing is for the sake of pleasing the Lord. For the sake of Kṛṣṇa. The only object of all activities is to please God, to please Kṛṣṇa. That's the only object of performing any activities. So that's why, now there's one story which I want to tell. Ramanujacharya was a great acharya. Sri Sampradaya Grim Acharya. So Ramanujacharya, he had so many disciples. He had thousands and thousands of disciples. And many of those disciples, many are sannyasis. And there are also many of them, they were grihastas. He had grihasta sannyas as disciples. He also had many sannyas disciples. So there was one time, Ramanujacharya, he wanted to test among all the disciples. He wanted to see which among them is really renounced, is really detached. He wanted to test between his sannyas disciples and the grihasta disciples. So he wanted to test which among them is detached. So what he did, so he told some disciples, he told them that in the āśrama the āśrama of sannyasis, where they stay in the ashram. So he told them that in the middle of the night, normally all the sannyasis, they will hang their clothes, they wash their clothes, and then they will hang their clothes on the clothesline so that where they can get dry. So Ramanujacharya, so he told some disciples that these sannyasis, they should go and mix together their clothes. Go mix together their clothes. So he went to see with them, want to see the reaction. So go mix together their clothes. So in the middle of the night, these sannyasis, their clothes were all mixed together. And then in the morning, all these sannyasis, they were looking for their clothes, but they find that their clothes have been mixed with someone else, or they trying to see which one is mine, this and that. But it so happened that this sannyasi, they started fighting with each other that, oh, why are you taking my clothes? Why are you taking my clothes? This and that, they were fighting on the clothes. Now, on the other hand, there was one Grihastha disciple who is very, very much dedicated to the Guru. Very, very much dedicated to the Guru, this Grihastha. So Ramanujacharya, he told some disciples, he said that in the middle of the night, they should go and rob and steal everything from these Grihastha disciples. They should go and steal, rob them, go steal everything from them. So in the middle of the night, while this Grihastha couple, while they were sleeping, so some disciples, they went to the house of this Grihastha couple, and then they were stealing everything. They were taking everything from the house, stealing everything. They were stealing everything. Then they went to the room where these couples were sleeping. They went to the room. They took out all the jewelries and everything. They took everything from the room. And then they even went to where they were sleeping. Because normally the women, they always have jewelry on their hair, wearing the earrings. So this couple was sleeping, the lady was sleeping. So the disciple, they went to see maybe they can also take the earring. So the lady was sleeping in one side way. As she was sleeping one side way, so they took the earring from her ear. And then as they took the earring from the ear, they took only from one ear, and then they were waiting to take the earring from the second ear, second one. So the lady, because she knows that the devotees are come, so they took the earring, and then she she tried to turn the other side so that they can take the second earring. She turned the second side. And as she did that, so when she did that, this devotee, so they became afraid. They thought that, oh, she must have waking up. She must have waking up. So they became afraid, and then they ran out. So when they ran out, so the lady, when she and her husband woke up, so she told the husband that, there must be some kind of situation in the ashram. There must be something going on that the devotee must be having a hard time in the ashram. That they came here in the middle of the night to take everything from the house. And then they were also taking my hearing. But as I turned back the other side, so that they can also take the hearing from the other side, but they became afraid, and then they ran away. They became afraid and ran away. So when the husband heard this, so he became angry with the wife. He said, oh, why did you let them, why did you get them scared? Why did you let them run away? You should make sure that you don't let them be afraid, so that they can easily take your second earring. So he became kind of angry with the wife that, oh, you've allowed them to become afraid, and they take and then they had to run away. So in this way, the couple, they were completely detached. Even though they are grihasthas, but totally detached. So Ramanuja is saying, see the comparison, that this couple, they were so detached. Whereas the sannyasis, they are very, very attached to their clothes. They are very attached to their clothes. So he was saying that who's really attached? The Grihastha couple, or the sannyasis? Who's actually detached? So which means that a person, it's not a matter of ashram that one is in that really can really show the sense of detachment. It's not really the ashram. It's a matter of the consciousness. What is what is behind it? Is actually the real mentality. Who's actually detached? Because someone who has developed Krishna consciousness, who has really developed Krishna consciousness, he becomes naturally detached. Because he knows that there is nothing that is of value in this material world. He knows that. He knows that. So the Lord is saying that actually such persons, even though they may be engaging in any activities, he said yes to indriyāṇi manasā, yes to those who are performing actions with their senses, karma-indriyaiḥ, which means their senses. They are working, they are all kind of endeavors. So those persons, they are actually superior to the so-called renunciate. They are actually superior to the so-called renunciate, who even though they may withdraw their actions, they may not be performing any actions. They don't perform. They not perform any action, any activity in the material world. The karmendriyaiḥ, the working senses. They not engage in any actions, but the desire to enjoy is there within their heart. Attachment is there for sense objects. There is attachment to sense objects. So they don't perform any activities. They just engage in so-called meditations and all that. But the attachment is there for the sense objects. Whereas those who are performing all activities, they engage in all actions, but there's asaktaḥ, there's no attachment for sense object. So it's like, how can we perform activity? We are doing everything with our hands, legs, and everything. So how can we say there is asaktaḥ? As asaktaḥ, there is detachment. How can someone perform activities and it's not attached to it yet? It's just performing activities, not attached to it. How can someone do that? A person doing that because the person understands that everything belongs to Kṛṣṇa, everything belongs to God. And everything is dedicated to God only. Everything is dedicated to God only. So therefore a person, because the Lord is the object of everything, is the object. So a person can perform all activities and we see that such activities actually meant for God, is meant for the pleasure of God. So therefore the person is happy. What is that? Rishikena sevana bhakti uchyate. Rishikena sevana bhakti uchyate. That what is that? The Rishikesh. Who is the Rishikesh? Rishikesh is the Lord of the senses. Rishikesh is the Lord of the senses, and that's Kṛṣṇa. He is Rishikesh. The Lord of the when bhakti is performed, what the senses, the sense objects, when there is a connection together, the sense object is Kṛṣṇa, not that. Not the object is Kṛṣṇa, not that my own desire. So therefore, that's called devotional service when there is the desire to please the object of the senses. That is called sevana uchyate. That's what they call seva. The service to God, the service to Kṛṣṇa. So that's what the Lord has said. So this distinction has been put here that those who are hypocrites because they want to make a show of renunciation. They want to make a show of renunciation. That is an hypocrite. Those who want to make a show of renunciation, and they are not truly renounced. They are not truly renounced, but they want to make a show of renunciation. So, this karma yoga is the yoga is there because the yoga means to union with God. That's what it's called. That's why it's called karma yoga, because it's this activities. When the yoga is there, then it becomes union with God, which means it's performed for the purpose of satisfying Bhagavan, satisfying the Lord. So therefore, it's called karma yoga. If the performing action, if the object is not meant to satisfy God, then there's no yoga. It's just karma only, but there's no yoga. And when there is karma, then there has to be a result, which means there'll be karmic reactions. Because every activity that you perform in this material world, there's a reaction to that activities. There's prarabdha karma and there's aprarabdha karma. This karma is aprarabdha karma is generated from performing actions. But a person who's in Kṛṣṇa consciousness does not engage in karma that's going to provide karmic reactions. Karma that is done by a devotee of Kṛṣṇa does not produce reactions. Whereas any karma that is done for the sake of one's own gratification, then it produces reactions. The reaction is there. So therefore, a truly renounced person is the one who is performing all activities, and all these activities is meant to please God. That's a truly renounced person. That's it. So throughout this whole chapter of Bhagavad chapter 3, that's what we're going to be hearing from the Lord. We're going to be hearing about how activities must be performed. One cannot renounce, one cannot give up activities. It must be done. Activities must be done. This whole chapter is all about performing activities. Kṛṣṇa is telling Arjuna that you have to perform your activities because it must be done. And especially, that is what you are suited for. So Prabhupada, when he was talking in his purport, Prabhupada was talking about the whole process of varnashram dharma, the whole process of varnashram dharma. The whole process of varnashram dharma is to how, according to one particular propensity, one engages in actions, in activities, according to, because everybody in this material has got a particular qualification. This is what we call samsara, what do you call it? Samskara, which means what one is suited to perform. Everyone has got that. And we cannot give it up, thinking that, because now I've come to Kṛṣṇa consciousness, so therefore what I'm suited to perform, I have to give it up. No, Kṛṣṇa does not recommend that. What one is suited to do, one has to do that. And because the goal is to satisfy the Lord, so therefore there is no karmic reactions. The karmic reaction is there for as long as we can perform the activities and we desire the fruit of the activities, then there will be karmic reactions. But if we perform the same activities without the desire for the result, then there will be no karmic reactions. Correspondingly, there will be elevation to the higher planets. And when I say higher planet, doesn't mean that we go to the heavenly planet or anything like that. There is elevation to the spiritual environment, to the spiritual sky. If activities are performed, and these activities performed to satisfy the Lord. So therefore, forced renunciation is rejected. Forced renunciation. So in the history of Vaishnavism, we've had so many great devotees who are grihastas, who are householders. We've had so many great devotees who are kings. They are great kings, great administrators. So many great Vaishnavas. Their stories are there in the Puranas. Their stories are there. Many of these great devotees. Personality like Maharaj Rantidev, or Ambarish Maharaj, Haris Chandra Maharaj. So many great personalities, great sages, whereby they were rulers, but at the same time, they were, because they see themselves as an instrument to performing activities on behalf of the Lord. On behalf of the Lord, they see themselves as an instrument to perform this activity. So therefore, they perform their activities, but without any personal attachment. They perform these activities for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, for the satisfaction of the Brahmanas and the sages. Then they were not attached to the result of their activity, so they had no karmic reactions because they performed. And those kind of great personalities, great sages, great kings, they were called Raja Rishi. Rajas, but Rishi means saintly persons. They were saintly. How do one become a saintly person? You have to be saintly in order to be called a saintly person. So you have Raja Rishis who are kings, administrators, they were called saintly. They were saintly person. And because they are saintly person, their position is even much more greater than the position of the so-called great sages. We find the case of Ambarish Maharaj and Dubas Muni. Ambarish Maharaj, a great king, but also a great devotee of the Lord. Great devotee. So Ambarish Maharaj, who had been fasting he has been fasting for 30 days, and then Dubas Muni, he came to visit Ambarish Maharaj. So he came to visit Ambarish Maharaj, and the time he arrived, it was the time by which Ambarish Maharaj was supposed to be breaking his fast. So when great sage arrived, it was the time of breaking the fast, but the sage, Dubas Muni said, okay, you wait. He said that I need to go take my bath, then when I come back, I will eat food. But when he went, it was time for Ambarish Maharaj to break his fast. But at the same time also the guests has come. And according to the etiquette, you cannot eat. If a guest come to visit you, you cannot eat before your guests or drink anything before your guest. So Ambarish Maharaj consulted the Brahman and said that, what shall I do? Because Dubas Muni had gone to the river to take his bath. But at the same time, it's time for me to break this fast. This is a time schedule. What to be done? So the Brahmana, they advised him that, you can drink some water, because drinking water is considered to be breaking the fast and not breaking the fast. Water plays both roles. So Ambarish Maharaj started drinking the water, but as he was just drinking the water, then Dubas Muni came. So when Dubas Muni came, he saw him, became angry. He said, I dare you, how can you break the etiquette of not drinking anything, eating anything before your guests? So therefore, Dubas Muni became angry. He said he wanted to punish Ambarish Maharaj. So he took off, because it's a great mistake. Actually, Dubas Muni, he happened to be an incarnation of Lord Shiva, very powerful. And so he took out his hair from his head And then from there, it's dashed on the ground, it produced a demon. He wanted to kill Ambarish Maharaj. So he produced a demon to go and chastise Ambarish Maharaj. But Ambarish Maharaj, he was not disturbed. He was simply meditating on the Supreme Lord. He wasn't disturbed. So that when this demon was produced by Dubas Muni, so immediately the chakra of Viṣiṣyate came. The Viṣiṣyate chakra came and killed this demon immediately, and then was going after Dubas Muni to kill Dubas Muni. So Dubas Muni, he started running for his life. He was running for his life. And no matter where he runs, no matter where he goes, the chakra was following him. Then he went to Lord Viṣiṣyate. He went to Viṣiṣyate in Vaikuntha. See, Dubas Muni is a very powerful person. He wasn't an ordinary person, that he was even able to go to the planet of Lord Viṣiṣyate. So he saw Viṣiṣyate and begged Viṣiṣyate that, look, my dear Lord, your chakra is behind me. You want to kill me. Please save me. So your chakra is behind me. Save me. The Lord said, no, I cannot save you because I have no power. I have no power. Even though it's my chakra, I cannot do anything. I have no power because you have offended my devotee. So it is my devotee who can save you. I cannot save you. It's my devotee that you have offended that can save you. So a devotee is even much more powerful than a so-called sage. So the Lord said, if you offend my devotees, I have no power, I cannot do anything for you. So you better go. You better go back to that devotee that you offended. So the Dubas Muni, he had to go and pay his obeisances to Ambarish Maharaj, who had been standing in the same position for about a year. And then he started glorifying the devotees. Oh, devotees, the portion of great devotees are so great. So, this is what this verse is teaching. That yes, devotees, they perform all activities, they perform all actions, but they are very, they are asaktaḥ, they are very detached. They are doing everything, but without any attachment. So therefore, their position is superior position than all the so-called the transcendentalists, the so-called sannyasis. Their position is superior position. So therefore, Lord Kṛṣṇa is instructing Arjuna that in all circumstances, be a devotee. In all circumstances. So this is the beautiful part of this verse that we are reading. So I'm going to stop here. If there is any question or comments. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Yeah.
Thank you for the wonderful class. I want some more examples on karma and karma-yoga. Just one or two examples so I can understand.
Yeah, karma means actions. And every action that you perform, there's a reaction to it. So in the material world, we are performing actions. Everything is based on action in the material world. And because there's action, there's always the result of the actions. So that's karma. But when the word yoga is attached to it, then it becomes different. Karma yoga, there's no reaction. There's no sinful reactions. There's no reaction to karma yoga. Because karma yoga is the action that is performed for the pleasure of the Lord. Once perform the same activities, but you are performing it on behalf of the Lord. So when Kṛṣṇa told Arjuna to fight, Kṛṣṇa said, all these people are already been killed. You are simply my instrument to do the fighting. So therefore, devotees is performing actions, but it's doing it on behalf of the Lord. So therefore, it's performing activities, but there's no reaction to it. So that is karma yoga. Karma yoga means you have activities that you perform, but there's no reaction to it. You are not bound. There's no bondage. Bondage is not there. Whereas normal activities that we perform in the material world, there is bondage. It's called karma-bandha. Karma-bandha means the bondage to the actions in the material world. So as long as you perform activities, as long as it's not dedicated to the Lord, then there is bondage. There is a reaction that's going to come. And that reactions may be good, may be bad. So which means if you perform good karma, you get the good reactions, you go to the, in the next life, you go to the better environment, either higher planets or this material world, you become rich, you become so many things, you become highly placed. But so good karma produce good results and bad karma produce bad results. But both are still karma. And this karma, there is no end to it. It burns in material world and it's constant. It's a cycle, some sort of cycle, repetition. But karma yoga does not bind you. There's no reaction to karma yoga because karma yoga is only connected with God only, with Kṛṣṇa only, the karma yoga. So therefore, we as aspiring devotees, we should perform only karma yoga. The activities, whatever you have been doing, do the same thing. Just put Kṛṣṇa at the center. That's what karma yoga means. You put God at the center of your activities.
Transforming the consciousness that is for the pleasure of the Lord.
Exactly. So it's your consciousness behind it. Say that, which means you don't eat food unless the food is first offered to Kṛṣṇa. You don't wear any clothes. You don't do anything unless it's first dedicated to God, to Kṛṣṇa. So that which means the food you are eating is no more food, it becomes prasadam. Prasad means the remnant, mercy of the Lord. Whatever you do, your actions, anything you just put Kṛṣṇa at the center, dedicate it to God, and then the Lord will always be with you. Then you will no longer be subject to the reactions to those activities. Just like Kṛṣṇa said that, he said that Jagnaha Sister Santo, that in this material world, when people eat food, and the food is not offered to him, then people, Kṛṣṇa said they eat sin, they eat only sin. If you eat food that's not offered to God, you're eating sin. So there's a reaction to it. So therefore, devotees first, they offer their food to Kṛṣṇa, and then there's no reaction to that. There's no sin. So therefore, a devotee is a real yogi. Yogi means he's performing everything on behalf of the Lord. That's all. Okay.
So, like varnas and āśramas, so how that helps us in, it's very important that Kṛṣṇa has made this system of varna and āśrama. So basically, suppose somebody is doing, say, farming, so how that helps him elevate his consciousness to Kṛṣṇa consciousness?
Yeah, because the varna as an ashram is the activities that we are performing based on our particular qualification. Because as we are born to this material world, there are certain things that we are suited for. There are certain... so the varnashram is arranged according to our particular qualification. So, like if somebody is by nature an administrator, kshatriya, then the person will get the training accordingly, according to that particular nature. Or if somebody is Brahminical by nature, then the person will get the training as a Brahman according to that particular nature. And it's that nature that is, one use that nature to serve the Lord. So varnashram there is meaningful because the whole purpose of, so in the society where varnashram is practiced, because the object of varnashram is to serve the Lord, is to serve God. And varnashram is supposed to make us, supposed to bring us closer to God, to Kṛṣṇa. Because he said he is the original varnashram. So if one is actually following varnashram, then one will be getting closer to God. If one is practicing varnashram. But unfortunately in Kali Yuga, nobody is really practicing varnashram the way it's supposed to be done. Nowadays, when people talk of varnashram, it just becomes like a table discussion, that's all. Nobody's really following it. And So in Kali Yuga, the Varnashram is pretty much non-existent in Kali Yuga. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came 500 years ago, he did not talk about Varnashram. Mahaprabhu did not talk about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he didn't talk about Varnashram. For example, when he asked Ramananda Roy to describe what is the goal of life. So Ramananda Roy replied that human society should follow Varnashram. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected it. He said, no. I said, bhaya, okay. He said, this is external thing. I want to hear something different. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not accept. So Varnashram is not really, but it helps our society. It helps. But it's not really our main focus. Our main focus is how to please God, how to please Kṛṣṇa, how to develop love for Kṛṣṇa. That is the purpose of our mission, how we can develop love for God. But because of the pollution that we have in the material world, because we are so polluted, so sometimes Varnashram is described sometimes. Because the Varnashram system is meant to transform a crooked person into a gentleman. Because in the material world we are very crooked. That's why we are here. So Varnashram is meant to transform us by transforming us into becoming devotee. And once you become a devotee, Varnashram is no more needed. Once you become a devotee, Varnashram is no more needed.
So since we are like aspiring devotees, so at our level we can still try and practice.
Yeah, I mean, because Varnashram is a very rigid system, which is actually very impractical in the modern society. Because to really enforce Varnashram, there has to be a very capable Kshatriya, which we don't have, to really enforce Varnashram. So even though, yes, our Acharya, they've discussed Varnashram, but it's not really practical. So therefore, whatever stage we are in, we can practice to become Krishna devotee. We can serve Kṛṣṇa. It doesn't matter what we have, the devotee is how to serve Kṛṣṇa. If we are not able to study the shāstras, if we don't have intellectual capability, then we can become and whatever propensity we may have, that propensity we have to use to serve the Lord, that's all. And that is Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So where there is Kṛṣṇa consciousness, there's no Varnashram is not needed. But if there's lack of Kṛṣṇa consciousness, then Varnashram is needed. And that, again, as I said, the purpose of Varnashram is to bring us to Kṛṣṇa. We don't practice Varnashram just because of the sake of Varnashram. We have to know what is the goal of it. What is the goal of Varnashram? It's how to bring us closer to God, to Kṛṣṇa. Okay? Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Go Pimanande. Hare Krishna.